Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Spotlight HBG. I'm Mayor Eric Pappenfuss, and it must be Friday at noon because we're here live with you. And this week, as every week for the past weeks, Friday at noon, we've been introducing you to the fascinating people that work right here at the city of Harrisburg. And today you're going to meet Melissa Mesones-Ortiz, who is our multilingual communications coordinator. Melissa, it is great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Mayor.
We're going to talk about Melissa's life and career and how she came to Harrisburg and what she's doing in her current position. But I want to begin, as always, with the latest BioBot data from our wastewater treatment facility, which measures the prevalence of the virus in the city's wastewater. The news this week continues to be alarming. It is down a little bit from last week, but the case estimate is still 70 new cases a day in the Harrisburg area. And most alarmingly, we still have a concentration level that is higher than 92% of all quantifiable samples. So the first graph shows us dipping a little bit from last week, but still well ahead of the trend from last year. And the second graph shows that we are still ahead of the curve, unfortunately, well ahead of other samples that are being measured around the country. So that's the latest on the BioBot data. There was good news on the vaccine front this past week in that people can now mix and match vaccines in terms of their boosters. So I am encouraging everyone who has already been vaccinated, if you're eligible, to go ahead and get a booster. And again, if you haven't been vaccinated, and we know more than half of the residents of Harrisburg have not been vaccinated, please consider getting vaccinated. It will protect you over the course of over the winter, which is with more people indoors and more people in confined spaces, is going to make the virus easier to spread and more contagious. So please get vaccinated. Consider getting your booster. Let's get Harrisburg healthy. Also wanted to let you know we had a couple major announcements over the past 2 weeks. One had to do with the rebuilding of the city's pools, and the other had to do with a new program for seniors to help seniors living below the poverty line in Harrisburg with a little extra money each week, plus the reopening of the Heinz Medicare Center and a number of other senior-focused initiatives. You can take a survey related to both of those initiatives at the city's website, harrisburgpa.gov. Just go to the homepage. You can click on either one of those surveys, and we're encouraging you to do that. We've already had, as of this morning, over 200 respondents to the pool survey, which we launched first, and we'd like some feedback on the senior program survey, which we just launched yesterday. So please go to the website and do that. Okay, Melissa, the spotlight is on you, and we're going to talk about your life, and I think we should start in Peru. I see you're wearing your Peruvian map necklace, and I know that your mantra is a Peruvian by birth, but an American at heart. But I'm curious what it was like growing up in Peru, and what your perspective at that time was on the United States. Was it a place you always wanted to go to? Was it clear, or not? Or what was it like growing up in Peru?
Sure, Mayor. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm originally from Peru. Peru is in South America, and that is a very quiet and conservative country. Mm-hmm. My family, my mom and my dad, they are economists. So we grow up with a career pattern all the time in our lives, my brother and I. However, Peru has a economical development problem back in the 90s, so it was a little struggle for all of us to try to get education, to try to get other resources to continue growing.
Yeah. Did you? What were your impressions of the United States at that time? Was it a place that you wanted to travel to from a very early age, or not?
Yes. We always watching the movies about United States, a very beautiful country, and every kid dream to have a career. I always was watching myself being in NASA. I studied chemistry in my country, and then I studied translation, and I I thought that it was very important to travel abroad because that will give me the possibility to learn more about the culture, because what you see in the TV or when you read in the books is just theory, but when you had experience to go, you actually see how the life is. So I think my first impression of United States was wonderful. I remember that I went to the JFK and then I arrived in Amtrak to Harrisburg City, and it has everything that I always expect. It has the airport, it has the train system, it has the bus transportation, and it's just a no overcrowd city that you are able to experimenting, as a solo traveler to see the culture.
Yeah, one more question about growing up in Peru, because it sounds like I read in your biography, and I didn't know this, that your both sides of your family were politically active in Peru, senators and Congress people. And Peru has a very interesting history that's is not that different than American history in the sense that it fought for its independence against colonialism. Somebody like Simón Bolívar was influenced very much by George Washington and the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the rise of Napoleon. What was it like growing up in a family of politically active individuals in Peru, and how is the history of your country? How does that inform who you are today?
Yes, my family, both of that, my dad was a union president for the textile manufacturer in Peru, and I grew up with a desire to change and a desire to raise my voice. And I think also my family from my mom's side, they were politicians, and every time that I see on the TV, I say I want to be like that and I want to make a change, because I see that I grew up in the poverty area, so I say so many people, they need to raise their voice, and so many people need to be here. And I say I want to be the person to choose to serve the community, to choose to raise a voice for the people who cannot do it.
Yeah, and how much of your family is still in Peru, and how much of a connection do you still have to the country?
Yes, all my family is still there. My dad works in the airport, and my mom is a nurse. They switch careers later on in life. My brother is an engineer, still working there. Maybe when they retire, they would like to be more here. They visit the United States in the past. It's just they had a successful career over there. I still going back to my country. I didn't lose all my roots and my identity. However, United States for me is my home, is my education, and also I had a special sentiment for United States because I grew up here as an adult. I always was under my parents' guidelines and that, but when I came to the United States as an independent person, I was able to trust myself and just be sure what I want to do in life.
Yeah. So you came to the United States as part of a international student program. And can you talk about how you found out about that program and how you ended up choosing Harrisburg? Because I understand you could have gone anywhere. Could have gone to a big city or anywhere up and down the coast or even elsewhere. Why did you end up in Harrisburg, and how did you find out about this international program to begin with?
Sure. When I was studying translation in a university, they had different programs that you can travel abroad. You can go to England, you can go France. I chose Harrisburg because I think in this city, it's no overcrowd. It's a city that has everything in one stop. That for me, the most important, it was transportation. I always was scared about New York with a subway and to get lost. I think in Harrisburg has everything. It has a capital. So it has history, it has Hershey. And it was just amazing to see just the river. I was dreaming of having that and just reading a little more what it was Harrisburg. I chose to be also in downtown because it is easy. You can walk everywhere. You can go to the coffee shops. You can go to the museum. It's just a great time with the students.
Tell us about your first day in Harrisburg. Do you remember coming here for the very first time? What was the first thing you did?
Yeah, the first time I arrived on the Amtrak and I got lost. We didn't have GPS at the time, so actually my apartment was in International House in the 3rd Street.
Yeah.
It was just a couple blocks.
So close, yeah.
Yes, However, I got lost. I ended in the convenience store in Allison Hill, and where it was a Latino store. It was kind of nice because I got some Latino food and candies, and I was just able to walk in the bridge and just get to know more about Harrisburg and just a lot of friends we have. We have people from Costa Rica, from Germany, from Russia. So it's a great experience. And it's a very safety city in downtown. We have also the police. They always was monitoring for the international students because they know that we are here.
So you walked across the Mulberry Street Bridge up
Yes.
into Allison Hill from the train station,
With my
and
suitcase.
and that's really the heart of the Hispanic community here in Harrisburg, isn't it? Right there. But let's talk a little bit about your education. So you grow up wanting to, potentially be an astronaut or studying chemistry, the hard sciences, and you come here and you go to HAC and you begin studying human services. So tell us about how your academic pursuits or your professional development changed as you came here to the U.S.
Sure. When I was studying at Harrisburg Community College, I see myself as an immigrant that we didn't have too much information. We didn't know how to go to college. We didn't know how to speak English, how to develop all the skills that you have. So randomly one day I was walking around the Terry Street and I found out about the Latino Center and I say, it is nice to see the nonprofit job that they do. So I say, I want to be part of that. So I changed my major. I was just studying in just my English. But I changed my major for human services, and I said I want to be part of that, and I want to have the experience of being in a nonprofit and see more about the city and how can I help, how can I change the label that some immigrants and some Latinos have.
Absolutely. So you start working, I think, in about 2015, first as a volunteer and later a caseworker at the Latino Hispanic American Community Center. I think a lot of people know the good work that's done there. But talk about some of the things that you did, because it wasn't just about helping people with English. It was working with seniors and giving immigration advice and counseling. What were some of the most fulfilling aspects of working at LHAC?
Yes, sometimes people thinking that LHAC is just the translation or interpretation for the non-English speakers, but no, LHAC is more giving counseling for people who has a mental disorder, giving resources for people who need education, providing solution for economical difficulties. We providing vouchers for food, for clothing, and also giving opportunities so that they can apply in other jobs. Mainly when I was a volunteer, I worked with the seniors. We had a beautiful class with 10 seniors, and it was a wonderful time because I think sometimes the seniors, they don't have a family close by, and they need somebody to hear them. So it was a very nice time. And later on, I was doing my casework, and I was working with different families that they didn't know English, or they didn't know how to access to the resources. They didn't know where it was the municipality. So I was providing, like, even sometimes a tour guide. This is the map, this is the city, this is the capital, this is the city hall, and all of that.
Wow, that sounds like an incredible service that you're able to provide, and a great experience. And I agree with you on seniors. That's one of the reasons we're trying to focus on them with this new senior initiative. Can you talk to others that may be watching and aren't as familiar with the Latino community right there in the heart of the Derry Street area around LHAC? What makes that community so vibrant? Why, in your estimation, is it worth knowing more about?
Well, I want to let everybody know that the Latinos were a united community. Doesn't matter that I'm Peruvian. We don't have a preference for anybody. We are just a big family that we want to change the label that we have, or we want just to get opportunity. And I think this country gives us the opportunity to be educated, the opportunity to live better, and the opportunity to help each other.
Absolutely. All right. Well, one of the things that the city was interested in doing was making sure that our services that we offer were better understood and more easily communicated to people, especially for whom English wasn't their first language. And we established fairly recently this multilingual communications coordinator position, which you have filled so wonderfully. Talk about your desire to go to work for the city and to take on this new position, and what are some of the aspects of the position that you find most fulfilling?
Sure, yes. I work in the city for a long time. I work in the research study with Penn State, and I already know the necessity that they have so many families and students. Since the pandemic hurt everybody, I think that it was very important to change the path and do something a bigger scale and work in a municipality that I can reach out more people. Just not giving the service of the language, is also giving the word to the people, to express themselves as any worriness, any concern that they have about the city. And I think I want to be the bridge between the residents and the department that we had in Harrisburg.
Maybe without specific names of individuals, can you talk about some of the ways in which you've done that, some of the people that you've helped, some of the common questions that you encounter on a daily basis?
Sure, yes. One of the most visited department is codes. I was able to do interpretations all the time and learning a lot about building permits and that. Sometimes people that are afraid to go to the municipality, they say, oh, I'm going to get fined, I'm going to do this. Maybe I just shut my mouth and just leave it like that. But no, I encourage people to come to the municipality. We're going to be able to help you and to get straight everything. Sometimes they are doing any construction without permits, and they are afraid because they don't know how is the system and how the system works. So I have so many of those clients, and we make appointments with them, and we work, and we provide paperwork, and we constantly provide counseling too, like what is the best path that you can do to be everything in organized and order.
Yeah, that's so important because one example is we have a strong tax abatement program in the city, which means that if you make certain improvements to a property, you don't have to pay taxes on that. But that's something that you can only apply for at the time when you do a permit. And if you don't do the permit, you're not only sort of not complying with the city, but you're also not taking advantage of some of the benefits that could come with that. So that's really interesting. Talk a little bit about the 311 system that we have at the city. That is something that when I took office, we didn't have. We didn't have an easy way for people to simply call and get information from City Hall. We've implemented that, but what does it mean when somebody calls 311, and what are your responsibilities regarding that system?
Yes, 311 is a system that is online ticketing, and also it is 8:30 to 5 o'clock. We have a receptionist that are able to answer all the questions that residents have. I think that is very important to have this relationship with the residents and the departments. I personally look at the inquiries, and I try to reach out all the departments because we know that everybody's busy, and we have sometimes lack of the staff. So to have an answer for the residents and try to monitor all the time the questions and providing a resolution according to what we can do in the city. In the receptionist office, on the first floor, we provide some of the information to the residents. Like sometimes they're asking, like, today I'm gonna pick up my trash, when is gonna be my trash gonna be picked? So we have information in hand to provide to the citizens. We also have an email that everybody is welcome to email to any concerns that they have besides any inquiry that you have.
And what are some of the most common inquiries besides trash? Are there other common things that people call in about on a daily basis?
Yes, treasury, tickets, street lights, potholes. We have so many of that. And
Sure.
we had a wonderful crew that they're always working on that. And I just want that people be, they patient with our responses because we had a lot of things that are going on in the city.
Sure, sure. But you're the you're the voice of the city. At least when people call in, you can document the calls, you put them into a system, and then you follow up on them. And sometimes it'll take a while to get to them, but other times it won't. But the important thing is that there's accountability and there's tracking. And what's it like dealing with individuals who don't speak English well? Do you feel that we do enough to help them access the services that they need at the city?
Yes, I think we had a language line. So if you're speaking Chinese, if you're speaking French, we had a service on the phone that we just had a interpretation live for you available, so there's no any problem. And that call, they go directly to me. So I'm always there checking if we had any calls, if anybody needs assistance, and it's not any problem. And for the last resort, we had Google Translate, so there is always a way how to communicate with people.
That's great, and that's the heart of the job, communications, and that's basically what you've a portion of what you've studied and what you've developed in your own career path. Are you still going to school? Do you go to E-Town currently?
Yes, I'm doing my master's in public policy, and this is my second year. So hopefully, I'm gonna get it soon.
Yeah, no, that's great. What is why E-Town, and what do you hope to do with that degree moving forward?
Yes, Eton is a wonderful college. They provide for people who are busy. You know that we are working with our families, and they provide a great course work online and also in live once a week. So that's what I chose Eton. My major is to help more people. Like for example, sometimes in the city we have so many projects. And the protocol and the guidelines, they are difficult. They take a lot of time to process. So I want to improve and implementing some of the policies to reach out more people and to get quicker answers.
Yes, and sometimes the regulations and the forms that have to be filled out for the programs can be very difficult and very complicated. That's one of the reasons that, like for the senior initiative, we're trying to streamline and make it very simple. You have to be 65, you have to live in the city for 2 years, and you have to make an income below a certain point. But other than that, that's it. And there's a lot that we can do, I think, to help make sure that people aren't deterred from applying for programs or doing things just because the paperwork is difficult or it's complicated to do. Let's talk a little bit more about you as a person. I know that you care very deeply about animals, and that's something that you've volunteered in your private time. What else sort of defines you as a person? What do you enjoy?
Well, I enjoy to get to know people from different cultures. I think it is very important. I'm a person that is always wants to learn. And always wants to learn. So I think in the experience to have people from different backgrounds that nurture me with knowledge, and I enjoy to have, just in overall traveling and spend time with animals and that, because I think that is part of what I am. My identity is to helping people, and always, like my mom was teaching me, that you always need to see and you need to encourage other people to be better.
Sure. Yeah, and we started with the mantra, a Peruvian by birth, but an American at heart. What does it mean to you to be an American at heart?
American for me is my soul, where I am right now. I think in America it is my provider for education. It is my instruction and my guideline, what I want to do. And I think from this spot, I can do something more for people, what I want to do. I always want to help people. I think in the United States also it is my second home. And I find out my identity actually here than in Peru, because maybe I have my parents next to me and I always had a support for them. But being here by myself, that really developed all the potential that I can be.
Sure, absolutely. Can we talk a little bit about your family life? What's it like raising a daughter here in the United States, and what has her experience been in the school system here?
Sure, yes. It is a little difficult for me because in my country, everybody's the same. Here is with different labels that they have for people, for the Latinos, especially when you had an accent or when you're coming from different places. My daughter she really loved her identity. I always teaching her that you have to be proud to be Latino, but also you're American, and we have to assimilate. Like, I don't believe that I had to come with all the Peruvian customs and all of that here. I think that it's important to be assimilated so you can adapt and you can have a better life. So I'm telling my daughter, you have to enjoy being American. This is America. This is why you have to be proud to be American, and teaching history and just showing her like what is important to be yourself.
Yeah. And what does she want to do? Does she have a sense of where she'd like to be when she's able to enter a career?
Yeah, she wants to be a scientist.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Just like you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I always changing my, different careers because I think I like pretty much everything. I wish I could have more time to develop other paths that I have,
Well, sure. Well, that's great. I mean, your daughter's a delight, but the opportunities are there for her. Whatever she wants to do, she can do. And same for you. You're doing amazing things with the city, but you're also continuing your education, and the possibilities really are endless. Let's end on a fun note. I know one thing that you care passionately about is something that I care passionately about, which is you love trying new cuisines and foods, and you enjoy Harrisburg as a place where there's amazing opportunities to sample all sorts of different things. I think the culinary scene in Harrisburg is very strong. Where are your favorite places to eat? What would you recommend? And give folks a little sense of who you are through what you enjoy eating.
Sure, yes. I had a wonderful opportunity to have a nice coworker that we go out every week just to try new things. The best restaurant that we like is El Rodeo, Tres Hermanos, Taco Solo, Second Street, Orugas, Burger Jam.
Yeah. Oh, everything. So
Everything.
All of that. All right. What's your favorite type of taco?
I would say the beef.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very simple with that. Just have beef, and it has a pico de gallo and avocado, of course.
Yeah, very simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I enjoy the carnitas probably is top choice, and I like all of the taco spots up Derry Street. We had dinner last night from Tacos Estrellas, which is the sort of outdoor shop there, and I think it's great. All right, and what's your favorite kind of burger?
Oh, cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger.
Yes, and a milkshake.
Okay. Well, thanks for that, Melissa. Thanks for introducing yourself to all the viewers of this show, and thanks for the good work that you do. If people want to speak to you or reach out to you, well, they should call 311 or send in an inquiry, and or just reach out to you directly here at the city. We're trying to spotlight the amazing people that work here, and you're certainly one of them. So thanks for joining us today, and thank you at home for watching. We will be back next week and every week at noon on Fridays right here on Facebook Live for Spotlight HBG. Until next time, I'm Mayor Eric Papenfu saying thanks for watching, be safe, and we'll see you next week.